The bushing will be installed with the outer taper facing the outside, the inner taper facing the inside. Tap the bushing onto the spindle shim using the bushing driver until it rests against the spindle shoulder. Allow the bonding agent to cure for at least 20 minutes. If the bushing goes on by hand, use the bushing driver insert to place the bushing in the correct position. Step 8. Prepare the hubs. We removed the rear seal, discarded the bearings, cleaned out the hubs and replaced the races, and re-cleaned the hubs. Put the inner bearing in the hub. Clean the inner surfaces of the hub with cleaning compound solvent. Apply bonding agent to the inner surface of the hub where the seal will sit. Put the seal in the seal driver with the super seal side on first. Apply bonding agent 360 degrees around the outside of the seal. Start the seal driver into the hub. The seal tends to start unevenly into the hub. Tap on the high side as you hold down on the seal driver. Once the seal is started evenly about 1/8 of an inch, continue driving the seal into the hub until the seal driver bottoms out on the back of the hub. Remove the seal driver and wipe off excess bonding agent. Seal should be flush with the back of the hub. Step 9. Pump new grease through the Zerk fitting until new grease comes out of the grease hole to clean out any remaining metal shavings. Discard the grease. Apply the grease to the inner surface of the grease seal. Apply the grease also to the spindle and to the bushing surface. Install the hub on the spindle. Install the outer bearing into the hub. Install the spindle washer. Install the spindle nut. Tighten the spindle nut to 50 foot-pounds while turning the hub to ensure the bearings are properly seated using a torque wrench. Loosen the spindle nut without moving the hub. Tighten the spindle nut finger tight. Align the cotter pin slot in the nut to the slot in the spindle. Install the cotter pin. Ensure there is no noticeable movement in the hub when you manually attempt to pull it back and forth. Bend the cotter pin flush with the spindle. Take a rag and clean the back of the hub next to the bushing of any excess grease or bonding agent. Step 10. We're going to install the air cap. Clean the outer surface of the air cap with the cleaning compound solvent where it seats into the hub. Clean the inner surface of the hub where the air cap is seated. Apply the bonding agent around 360 degrees of the inner surface of the hub and the outer surface of the cap. Install the air cap into the cap driver. Drive it in evenly into the hub until it is completely seated into the hub. Step 11. Use a manual grease gun for the initial fill. Due to the pneumatics create more pressure and the bonding agent at that time will not be fully cured. Once cured, 24 hours, a regulated pneumatic grease gun can be used for grease exchanges in the future. Pump grease into the bearing as you slowly rotate the hub. Stop pumping grease into the hub when the grease reaches the ridge in the cap. Step 12. Install the airtight diaphragm. Apply grease in the hole on the cap where the diaphragm seats. Squeeze the diaphragm until the grommet part opens up. Put that into the cap first and use your finger to push in the back of the grommet as you turn the wheel. Turn the diaphragm slightly to make sure it is seated. Wait until the next day to add air to let the bonding agent cure 100%. Step 13. Assemble the disc brakes and wheels. Lug nuts should be tightened by hand with a ratchet and then torqued to 45 pounds and then 90 pounds using the 6-lug bolt pattern. Step 14. Allow the bonding agent to cure for 24 hours before pressurizing the diaphragm. When the diaphragm is expanded past the cap approximately 3/4 of an inch, the hub is pressurized with about 5 to 10 psi. Put grease in the hole on the diaphragm and on the end of the needle prior to inflating. Work the needle into the hole back and forth until the needle slides easily. This is important to lubricate the built-in needle valve so the valve closes 100%. Air up the diaphragm until the diaphragm expands out past the cap approximately 3/4 of an inch. Remove the needle immediately. Apply airtight stickers to the trailer. Prior to submerging the trailer, glance at the diaphragms to see if the diaphragms are protruding outwards. You can do a visual indication by looking at the diaphragm's location or a physical indication by pressing in on the diaphragm. As long as the diaphragms are pressurized, the hub is protected and nothing else is needed. When at the boat ramp, if for whatever reason one of the diaphragms was flat, air up prior to submerging the trailer to assure no contamination can enter the hub. All you need is to hold pressure long enough during trailer submersion. The hub can then be checked at a later time for the problem. With airtight, you will be aware that a hub needs attention and which hub. With confidence, you will know at all times that the hubs are being protected 24/7. The airtight bearing protector will protect the grease and let the grease do its job. Our website is airtighthubs.com and our technical service number is 561-704-9266.